Hi, just an update on the job keepers, but not just an update. I want to explain to you in this video how asking just a couple of questions and digging a little bit further can actually determine whether you're eligible or not eligible. And the difference in the cases that I'm going to give you adds up to roughly about $100,000. So it's not just an update, it's asking the right questions too. So what have the ATO told us over the last couple of days? What have we learned? There's a couple of things that I'll go through step by step. The first one is eligibility. There's still a bit of confusion about which visa classes can apply, okay, or become eligible. And the class that you need to be aware of is subclass 444, relating to citizens of New Zealand, but who have been working here for quite a while. And last night we had a client who said, I don't think one of my staff qualifies because they don't have the right visa. The question I asked was, which visa do they have? And he just said, no, they don't qualify. And I said, send me the visa. And last night at about 8:30, he sent it to me. I looked at it and I said, no, she qualifies. And the difference between asking that question and just accepting what he said is going to be roughly $20,000 for them. So that's one of the questions that we asked. We just dug a bit deeper. The second one is actually turnover. And the question that a lot of people are getting confused about is, what turnover do you show? Because the ATO just say GST turnover, and everyone thinks that's BAS turnover, whatever you declare on your BAS. Not quite true. What GST turnover is what is your actual turnover? What are your sales or your fees income if you're a medical practice? What is it? And they've given you a couple of alternatives. So they've said to you, you can do it on an accruals basis. And you're going to say to me, well, what's accruals? Accruals is basically you've raised an invoice to a patient or to your customer, but they have not paid it yet. In your books, that classifies as a sale. Doesn't matter whether you've received the money or not. That's accruals basis. So you can do accruals basis. Whether doesn't matter how you do your BAS, you can apply accruals basis. If your BAS is done on a cash basis, that means you only pay GST to the ATO when you receive money or when you pay money. Now, if you have that basis for your BAS, and you might have to speak to your accountant, then you have the alternative of declaring your turnover to the ATO based on that cash basis. Okay, now the reason this is important is because we've had clients, specifically dental clients, who have quite a lot of money outstanding with their patients, but they are not trading right now. So if you look at their accruals turnover, what have they invoiced? It's hardly anything. But when you look at their cash turnover, it's quite high. So when we were looking at their turnover, it looked as if they weren't going to qualify because they had all this cash coming in. And then we looked at accruals and said, no, you still qualify. And the difference between that and not being able to claim and being able to claim is probably at least a month to month and a half, maybe even 2 months of job keepers. And when you've got number of employees, it starts adding up. We calculated that to be roughly about $70,000. So again, make sure your turnover is the right turnover that you're declaring, because it can make the difference between you claiming now and maybe claiming a little bit later. The final confusion we're having is alternative turnover. Now, this is turnover for people who are in operation right now, but excuse me, but were not in operation a year ago. So you can't compare 1 year back. Excuse me. The ATO still have not told us how they're going to deal with that. All they've said is you have to apply to the ATO and we'll tell you whether you qualify or not. We just don't know. We're just going to have to put the information out to them, tell them this is what the position is, and we'll just have to wait and see. So those are my updates today. Hopefully that's made some sense to you. I realize it's a bit more than my usual couple of minutes, but have a great day, look after yourself and be safe.